First, the use of cannabis has certainly been in the news a lot this week. It's after Durham Police announced it's going to give people caught in possession of the drug the opportunity to avoid criminal prosecution. The Police and Crime Commissioner for the Force area is Ron Hogg. He's been explaining to us how it's going to work.
We have to prioritise. We have always had to do that within the police service. We've always had to use our discretion, and we need to focus on those areas which will actually help us to minimise harm. And those are the large-scale producers and the dealers on the streets. We'll tackle them, then try to help the small-scale users to get away from their habit.
Well, some users of the drug claim it's a legitimate way of dealing with painful health issues, but drug charities warn it acts as a gateway even to other drugs and can have dangerous psychiatric effects. Well, next month, those in favour of legalising the drug will gather in Redcar for the second Canna Camp Festival. John Holliday is the man behind that festival, and he's with us in the studio right now. Hello, John.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for coming in. First of all, talk us through why you're organising this event.
The event, to be honest, is just a community gathering. It's open to the entire country. It's just a gathering for educational purposes. There's obviously, this year we've tried to provide music and also some comedians that are on at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. We'll be doing the warm-up acts on the evening. It's nothing like grand. It's been paid for by the community, and it's basically just a community initiative.
But explain to us why you feel the need you need to do this.
We need to spread the word and educate people more about the awareness of cannabis and the health benefits. I understand there's a lot of negative press around cannabis, but there's also a lot of positive press around cannabis. If you look at the UK government and GW Pharmaceuticals owning a patent on cannabis, you can get on the NHS from the government, but yeah, for you or I to grow the cannabis ourselves and medicate with it ourselves, it's against the law.
Yeah, so that's why there's so much negative press.
That's why there's so much negative press. Obviously, it's a multi-billion-pound industry, and obviously they're never going to let you or I or anybody else medicate ourselves or treat ourselves. Why they've got control. So if there's a nationwide debate, an open debate, it keeps people talking. Good or bad press, it's still people talking, and that's what we push for.
Why you as an individual? Why did you get involved with this?
I personally felt like I needed to get involved with this because obviously as a youngster growing up I was around certain communities and certain drugs, and I've seen it. I never ever felt like smoking a commercial, like in a social setting,
right,
or recreational setting. Around the age of 15, 16, I developed a stomach condition which is very similar to Crohn's disease. It was actually my local GP at the time that suggested to a 16-year-old boy at the time alternative therapies, and basically mentioned cannabis. He didn't tell me where I could purchase it, he didn't tell me where I could get it, he just mentioned that there had been studies to show that it could alleviate the symptoms that I had at the time.
Had you used cannabis prior to that?
Not prior to that, no, but I did use cannabis after that, and I found immediate relief with it.
Were you surprised your doctor was saying that to you?
I wasn't, because I'm obviously not blind to the media. I'm aware that there is health benefits. I've spoken to many people since then, obviously over the last 15 years since then, that have obviously got very positive stories of it.
You've met with Ron Hogg on a number of occasions. Explain why you felt the need to do that.
I met with Ron Hogg along with Durham Cannabis Club and Town and Weir Cannabis Club, basically just because he seems to be one of the most forward-thinking forces, head of one of the forward-thinking forces in the country right now. It was just to basically see his understanding of how they were going about dealing with it in their area, how we could maybe approach Cleveland and see if we could try and... my idea is if we can get every community to approach their own police force, their own PCCs, and we can all present a very fact-based argument, would we say, instead of a biased argument, then at least the debate's out there for everybody to get out there and have a conversation about this, which needs to be had. We need an open debate about this.
Have you done this, John, with Cleveland Police?
I've tried to approach Cleveland Police. I've spoken to Mr Coppinger, our PCC, last year via email, and I understand their stance currently. They have to uphold the law, obviously, and until the Royal Commission look into it, his stance is still pretty much the same, and I understand and respect Cleveland Police completely for that. I understand that completely. Durham Police are not taking a soft option on drugs. Ron has not said he's decriminalising cannabis. I think that's a bit of crazy media, reefer madness in the media. I think it's very clear what the man's trying to say. It should be treated as a rehabilitation and more of a treatment issue rather than a criminal offence, like I said.
You were really annoyed at some of the press or the news coverage last year in terms of the event. In terms of
I was very upset.
Explain why.
I was very upset at an article that appeared in a paper that's usually very good to us, which was the Northern Echo, because it seemed to focus more upon the recreational side, which was a very small part of that day. At that day, the first 15 people we had there were over the age of 50, had never touched cannabis in their life, and 2 of them was an elderly couple in the late 70s, early 80s, who were both interested in hearing about alternative ways, because they were on 10 to 15 prescription drugs between them that were making them ill or making them worse, and they felt like they had no lives. They felt they were dependent upon pharmaceutical drugs. My story was very similar to the gentleman's story that I was talking to on that day. Now, through the Evening Gazette sharing a positive cannabis story, not one of hysteria, we actually managed to make a difference that day, and people came and talked, and we had no arrests that day. The police came and checked up on the event throughout the day.
So this is not this year on the 1st of August. This is not about people coming over this year, though.
This was last year.
Yeah, but I'm saying about this year. This is not about people smoking drugs.
Oh, this is not about smoking drugs, no. This year there's people coming from all over the country to this event. From the members of the UPA will be there. There'll be members from Brighton CSE that will be there. There'll be members from Normal UK Women's Alliance, which will be there. There'll be members from Normal UK, which will be there. All of these are medicinal patients. They're all experts in their own fields and their own areas.
We contacted Cleveland Police to ask them about, obviously the policing of this, the Canna Camp Festival in Redcar. The forces told us we are aware of the event and that the organisers wish it to be a peaceful event, in line with any event taking place in the Cleveland Police area. Officers will take appropriate enforcement action if it's evident that the law has been flouted.
Broken, which we expect them to report, and we totally appreciate that. The police have been absolutely great with us, Cleveland Police. I can't applaud enough. Like I said, for the last 18 months with the events that we've had, we've obviously had to be in touch with the police on each event, or try to be in touch. We try to be as forthcoming and as open as possible.
But you want the force to move forward, like Durham Police?
We want the force to move forward. We would like to have a working relationship with Cleveland Police. I'm not going to lie. I would like every town to try and work with the local authorities until the government make a change to policy, because let's face it, policy hasn't changed. Ron Hogg hasn't made a change to policy. Policy has not changed. We need everybody to be talking. We need a full-scale discussion.
John, thank you so much indeed for coming in this afternoon.
Much.
John Holliday, the man behind that festival, talking to us live this afternoon. It's 4:20.